Hi, I'm Susan Dinkle, and this is Understanding My Community of St. Francis. The Sociological Inventory of St. Francis is that we are a rural community in northwest Kansas. We are legitimately about 15 miles from the Nebraska line and the Colorado line. We have a mostly German heritage with some strong community leaders. And we are obviously a very farming community, being rural. We have an older population, and unfortunately, they have the mindset that our community is dying, mainly because things have just changed a little bit. We don't have much diversity. We have some Hispanic families, and we have one African American family in the community. Some customs and traditions of our community. We're very stubborn, and I think that comes from being German. We're also very frugal with our money. People do not like to spend money. Our community really supports the school district. The faith, family, and farming motto is a real motto around here. It's a strong ag curriculum within our district. Expectations are high with our judging teams, really in all of our curriculum. Change does not go over very well. We have that it's always been done this way mentality. It's been great. We shouldn't ever change. And sadly, that's part of the reason why we're kind of stuck in the mud at this point. So some population characteristics of our community. 54% have some college or high school diploma. 20% have a bachelor's degree, and only 5% have a graduate degree. 37% of the population are actually seniors, and the median age is 47. Oddly enough, I am that median age. 96.7% are white. 53.2% are married. We have one transgender person in the community, and he happens to be a high school junior. We have little to no industry aside from farming or agriculture, so it's very difficult for new or people to find good, high-paying jobs within our community. So the communication channels that I'm going to talk about would be most of our community happens to be on Facebook, and that's either good or bad because you all know how it is when people get on Facebook and they are older. Things just come out, whether they should or not. Our school website, usd297.org. The local newspaper is the St. Francis Herald. There's a picture of it to my side. We have some local radio stations, which would be Goodland, Atwood, and Colby, Kansas, or Burlington and Ray, Colorado. Also, around here, churches are great communication channels. We have prayer chains via text messaging, Sunday service bulletins. All of that is really, really vital in this community. Community groups within our church or within our city. Sorry. We have Lions Club, Masonic organizations like the Masons, Job's Daughters, Eastern Star, the Historical Society. We have various church groups. 4-H is big in this community. CC4C, which is our Cheyenne Center for Creativity. Music Club, and of course our local Booster Club. In school, we have FFA, and I probably should mention journalism. We have a great journalism program. I did not include that simply because journalism is actually a part of our school day, so FFA is not. We have no problem organizations really in the community. We just have really vocal people. And unfortunately, that can become a little bit of a problem, as I'm sure you all know, especially if you're from a small town. The leadership within the community, obviously we'd have our city council, our county commissioners, and our CC4C, who really has taken up and trying to revitalize our community. And then within our school, we have the school board, PTO, Booster Club. Obviously within the school, you'd have to count in there our superintendent and principal. So when we talk about our community leaders and the characteristics that they have, these people are strong-willed. They have very big shoulders because oftentimes they get a lot of critiques. So they take criticism pretty well. They're actively involved in various groups. These people are involved in everything. And I'm saying that simply because most of the time these people, not only are they a part of a church group or maybe the mayor, he's a business owner in the community, but he also is very actively involved in other organizations. We also have some very diverse leaders. Some are vocal. Those would be the leaders that are actually leading the meetings. Some are financial. Those are the people who just like to donate financially, but yet spur a lot of big projects on. For instance, we just recently built a brand new pool. I think that was 3 years ago. I happened to be on the pool building committee, and we had strong financial support from a few of our older members in the community to get that going, and it was fantastic because without them, we had to have a bond for that, and without their financial as well as their vocal guidance, we probably would not have gotten that to pass. And obviously, within our leadership roles, some people are just simply workers, and as you well know, without those workers, nothing ever gets done. So let's talk about the economic conditions of St. Francis. The average wage is $56,947. But one thing I thought was interesting is that when you look at the median wage, it was about $42,000. 6.91% of white families are in poverty, 11.49% of Hispanic families are in poverty, and 9.09% of other families are in poverty. Property values and taxes are higher than they have ever been. And sadly, people are struggling to pay their taxes, which is great for people who want to come in and purchase homes for like revitalization projects. But sadly, a lot of people are losing their homes as well. Some of the political structure within this community, and specifically when we're talking about politics and education, obviously our community is going to complain because of the higher taxes, and when you're talking about the local option budget and how it is that because schools aren't getting funded the way that they need to be and we're having to dip into that local option budget, it becomes a little bit more difficult for us to be able to separate those politics from education. We have to make sure that our money is being utilized appropriately by our school board and the superintendent as well as the principals. So let's talk social tensions. I'm not going to lie. I grew up in this community. I didn't really notice that there was discrimination going on when I was growing up, but now that I've gotten older, I've definitely noticed certain things. So we're going to talk about discrimination against newcomers. If you come into this community and you don't ever get involved in anything, you're going to feel like an outcast, because part of the way that you get to know a community and the people who are in it is to become active. And sadly, a lot of people just don't take the time to get out and get to know people. So therefore, they're discriminated against. In terms of the Hispanics, it's more about that old school mentality of they're just here illegally. Even though a lot of our Hispanic population is, they're here with valid work visas or green cards or whatever. Sadly, a lot of people just still have that stigma against them. And some of the greatest people I know in this community happen to be Hispanics, and certainly some of the hardest workers are. And then the third one I'm going to talk about is just discrimination against women, and that is even still happening today. even when it comes to being overlooked for certain positions. And it's kind of a sad reality, and women have their place in this community, and it doesn't happen to be at the front of anything. So some of the extra sources of information, I went to the City of St. Francis website, our local county website. Our minutes of the school board meetings are on our school website, and then the Cheyenne County Development Corporation website as well. So when we talk about power structures within the community, we have the city manager, the city council, and the mayor. And then within the school, we have our school board superintendent and our principal. When we talk about multicultural issues and the problems that we have within our district, we need more translators available. It's really, really hard. We have one migrant worker within our school district. When we have a student up in the high school in the morning who has a lot of really hardcore classes in the morning, she has to be down in the Head Start program in the morning, and that becomes a real issue. We need more books for Spanish speakers. We need communication to be bilingual when it comes from the school. And then we need partners to help migrant families get answers to questions they have. Sometimes it's just simply needing to know where to go. And oftentimes, because of the language barrier, we can't answer that correctly for them. So that's something that I think that we need to improve on. So when we're talking about public opinion, we have a great deal of support from the community within our school district. I know that we need to focus more on ACT scores. Now, back in the early 90s, ACTs were our focus, and we scored extremely high. In fact, in my class, I think I had the smallest class at the time. We had 23 graduating students, and we had 5 that scored 29, and I think we had 2 perfect scores. That's really kind of unheard of, but anymore, that's especially unheard of here. We've taken the focus from ACT to assessments, state assessments. And so a lot of times people in the public don't necessarily know that. I will tell you this much though, as long as athletics is going good, then the school is doing good. So we also have to take that into account. Right now, athletics for us is really good. So therefore, our school is doing good in the public eye. These are the resources that I use to find my information. Thank you.